Hey fellas, Meat Trapper here. Today we're going to talk paracord. Specifically, we're going to talk about the difference between genuine mil-spec paracord and cheap knockoff China mart cord. We're going to talk about how to tell the difference between the two, and most importantly, in real life, does it really make a difference which one you use? Okay, I've got two pieces of cord here. The one on the left, the foliage green, is genuine military spec paracord that I got from southernsnares.com, and the orange in the background is China Mart cord that I got from China Mart. So the first thing that you want to look for in making sure that you've got genuine mil-spec cord is the number of strands, inner strands. Now, genuine mil-spec cord can have 7, 8, or 9 strands on the inside. This particular cord has 7, and the China Mart cord right here also has 7. So far they match. The next thing you want to look at is you want to take a single strand and you want to unwind it. Okay, these are wound up strands. Genuine mil-spec cord is going to consist of 3 pieces that are wound together to make one. So if I take that piece right there and unwind it, it's going to have 3 fibers twisted together. When we look at the China Mart cord and we untwist that, you can see it's comprised of 2 fibers twisted together, not 3. So right there, you know this is not military spec cord. Now the next thing that you can look at is you'll notice, see how there's that darker fiber that's woven in? Genuine mil-spec paracord has, each manufacturer is assigned a color code, and they weave that into one of the inner cores. The reason for that is if there is a failure of the cord, they can trace this back to the manufacturer, and he won't get his contract renewed. So if you jump out of an airplane and they've sold defective paracord or whatever, and something snaps and down you go, in their investigation, they'll take that and they'll identify the manufacturer of that cord, and they'll go back. Now, the China Mart cord doesn't have that. You see, there's no dark fiber in there. So those are the 3 key things. Make sure it has 7, 8, or 9 individual strands. Make sure that each strand untwists into 3 fibers. If that will focus, there we go. If that'll untwist into 3 fibers and not 2. And then you can look at just some different aspects here. Look at the sheath on this, and you see how even when I've unfrayed that sheath, I've undone the sheath, it maintains its structural or fiber integrity. You can still see the individual fibers. Now look at the China Mart cord. Look at what a frayed up bird's nest. See, those fibers are separating just of their own volition right there. Look at that. It looks like feathery almost compared to the structural integrity of the sheath on the genuine mil-spec cord. See, there's no comparison. So these are some of the things that you want to look at when you buy your cord. And of course, anybody that's done any business on eBay or on the internet knows the Chinese are incredibly good at making fakes and copies. You can go out and buy, you can go on eBay and you can buy Spyderco knives that are fake. And it's extremely hard to tell the difference between the two until you start using them and you go to try and sharpen them, and then the difference becomes obvious and it's too late. Okay, so those are some of the visible or physical things that you can look at. There are a lot of things that you can't see or that don't meet the eye that are just as important, if not more important. For instance, with mil-spec cord, they do all kinds of torture testing on the cord to certify it. For instance, they'll heat it up to 356 degrees for an hour and then cool it down and then run tests on it to make sure that it hadn't damaged the cord or weakened it. This is important because, you know, if you pull the cord around something at a high rate of speed, it's going to heat up. And you want to make sure that your cord doesn't, lose its properties just because it got hot. They will also do weathering tests, which is important. For instance, they'll wet the cord and dry the cord, and then they'll test its knotability and all of that sort of thing. This is critical because, you know, we're outdoors and we're going to use the cord outdoors. It needs to hold up under repeated weathering. There are color fast tests that they do, and, you know, all sorts of things. But the bottom line is that it is a superior cord. Now, the last question really is, what difference does it really make in a real world situation between China Mart cord and Paracord mil-spec cord? Let me give you two examples. One, if I'm just using the cord to tie a lawnmower down in my pickup truck so it doesn't roll around, it really makes no difference what type of cord that I use. You know, just El Cheapo cord is going to work just fine. But that's not a critical use. If you have a critical use, and let me give you an example of one. If you've watched my channel, you've seen me trap out of my kayak. Now that kayak carries my traps, carries my tools, carries me, carries my catch, all of that. I dummy cord everything down on that kayak with paracord. Now over the course of a season, that kayak is stored outside in harsh weather. It's in the water, it gets put in the back of the truck, it gets baked in the sun, it's exposed to freezing cold weather, the cord is wet and then it freezes overnight, so that cord gets put through a lot in one trapping season. And to be honest, I don't change that cord out at the end of the season, so it goes multiple seasons before I change the cord. In this case, if I flip that kayak over, I can lose traps, I can lose tools. If I tie the kayak up to a branch while I'm making a set and turn my back, if the cord breaks under the wind or something, or if the knot fails, my kayak goes floating off down the frozen river, I can be in a real pickle. So for me, that is a critical use case. And for me, that's when it's worth the extra time, trouble, and money to source out genuine military spec paracord. So it's two different use cases, two different scenarios. And you just have to decide what's best for you and in your case. For me, it's just like fish hooks or traps or anything else. Why go to all the time and the trouble and the effort and the expense to get out in the woods and to do stuff and then cheap out on one component that, if it fails, can ruin your experience and cost you money? So anyway, I hope this was useful, thought-provoking. Let me know your thoughts below. If you haven't clicked the little subscribe button, please do. Click the bell to get notified when I put new videos up. And thank you for watching.